Hey game makers, this is a guy called Joe. Welcome to part 4 of our 10-part series where we're going through the Infinite Jumper ebook that we released back in April. Now, if you haven't gotten the ebook yet, you should totally download it. You can get that by going to blog.ourcade.co. You can see it on the home page. Just submit your email address and then we will email you the ebook. And it's absolutely free. There's nothing, no credit cards, no nothing like that. 100% free. We're here to help you go from zero to a full-fledged Infinite Jumper game. If you want to learn more about the book, we have a dedicated landing page where you can see what is included, the concepts that we have, as well as the things you're going to learn within this free ebook. We also have an EPUB version of it if you'd like that. But make sure you download it. 100% free. If you're in the journey of learning Phaser, this is one of those must-haves as a guide. And also, in this tutorial, we're going right through it with you so that if you run into any problems, you're likely to see the same things in this tutorial. So, quick recap of the last part 3. We went in and we created platforms. We added arcade physics with gravity, so things would fall by themselves at the regular gravity rate that is provided by phaser physics. Then we added multiple platforms. So instead of just one, we did a loop function, a for loop to be specific, and then we added 5 platforms where the position on the x-axis varied, and we did that by doing phaser.math between, and then on the y-axis we incremented by about 150 pixels. So in this part, we're going to be creating a player because no game is a real game unless you can control a character. So diving right into it, our player is the bunny, and it's going to automatically hop on any platform it lands on. So just like we did for the background and the platform, we're going to load up the bunny. So going to our game.js file, up into the preload, add new line, this.load.image bunny stands assets bunny1 stand. Remember, this is our assets folder where we imported 5 of those assets from Kenny. That was in part 2. If you missed that, please feel free to go back to part 2 where we show you how to add those into your Phaser project. So just like the other ones, we're also going to want to add in the bunny asset in the create function. So let's go ahead and we will add you after the platforms. So right below this for function, we're going to do this.physics.add.sprite. So we're going to add it to the center, just like we did for the other assets. Bunny stands is the key, and then I guess the bunny is also large too. So we're going to set the scale to 0.5. I'm going to save that. So let's start up our development server. Command L, Command O. All right, it's loading up. We should see our bunny. Look at that. And as expected, the bunny dropped because of the physics and the gravity that we set. And the bunny is apparently a ghost because it's going through the platforms. But that's no worries. We haven't added any colliders yet. If you remember going through the Phaser.io official tutorial or the making your first Phaser game in modern JavaScript provided by the Ourcade blog as well, and also the other video series. Same thing happened with our character, went straight through the floor. So in order to fix that, we're going to add collisions. So to do that, it's going to be this line over here, physics collider, within the create function where we already have the player. So over here we do const player equals this dot physics dot add sprite, all that good fun stuff we already added, and then we're going to do this dot physics dot add dot collider platforms and the player. So now we're saying, hey Phaser, add some colliders between the players and the platforms. Those two should interact. So once we save that, it's going to refresh our development server here, and okay, look at that. Now our bunny is happily standing on the platform. What is next? Yep, here's a screenshot of exactly how we wanted it to look. Update using class properties. So we have a player that doesn't do anything. Let's change it by adding an automatic jump as soon as the bunny lands on the platform. Okay, so then we're going to need to add some logic for an update method. Update loop, so term, look it up. I'm not going to do that right now because we're going through the ebook. So this refers to code that gets called every single frame. Putting inefficient code in update, usually reason for poor performance. So that makes sense. So it's like basically it's like the update function is just constantly listening to what's going on within the game for every single frame. If you guys know anything about frame, if you know anything about frames in video games, a lot of frames happen in a lot of seconds. So that would explain a lot of poor performance if you're looking for a lot of things in the update call. So, okay, let's see here. So we add the colliders. Now this is in the create. So let's put the update function below it. And then so station on line 3. Okay, so we need that. Let's go back up here. This is above the constructor. Type that. We're going to call player here. So what is this doing? We're using it because VS Code uses the gives type information about properties of variable. So that's this part here, type blah blah. So where's your declaration of the player property that will be used as this dot player? Very interesting. Let's see, create. We changed that from using local variable player to the class property this dot player. Okay, so that's over here. So go back to create. So instead of declaring the variable, we're going to do this dot player. And then over here is also this dot player. All right. So that should take care of that. Now let's go into the update function. So we are defining a new variable touching down and then saying is the player body dot touching dot down. So this is using phaserjs definitions there. That just says is I guess the bottom of the sprite is it touching something or down, and if it is, then set the velocity to negative 300, or saying to say like move the player 300 pixels up the y-axis. So let's go ahead and write this out. Const touching down equals this dot player dot body dot touching dot down. And then if we are touching down, we're going to say this dot player dot set velocity, not just velocity, not just any velocity, velocity y to negative 300. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. I'm gonna save, I'm gonna reload. Wait, hold up. Okay, and now the bunny is like a pinball between these two platforms. All right, but it works. Isn't this great? It's amazing. Let's see here. So also hit the 10 of the platforms, exactly what we're saying. Player should be able to jump through platforms and only collide upon a landing. So if that's the case. Looks like Super Tommy over here is, trying to test us. I don't know. I have thoughts on it. I think if we, I don't know, deactivated collisions, Or I wonder if you can set collisions for only a certain part of the body. I don't know. Let's just go through. Let's see. What is the solution? Tell us the solution. If you know your velocity, then just skip this. I don't know velocity, so let's not skip it. Velocity is a change in position. Oh, okay. You mean like typical physics velocity? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so velocity, set it to 300, and the force of the gravity going down is going to lower it until it hits 0, and then you're going in the opposite direction. So, okay, that's fine. And we set the gravity to 200, so that makes sense. Okay, so back to the collision problem. Here's what we want to do. We want collisions happening only for landing on platforms. Here's what we need to do. Is that, look at this. Okay, so we can deactivate collisions for certain sides of the sprite or the game object or whatever it's called. So back to create, where the collider has already been set. We're going to do this.player.body.check collision dot up equals false. So let's actually copy that down. This is going to be left, and this is going to be right. All right, let's see how that works. Hot reload. Okay, so I know it's a little hard to see here, but you can see the bunny's body is going through that just barely. Let's refresh it. Maybe we can get a better set of randomly placed platforms. Yeah, here we go. Look at that. And it should bump on this guy now. Ah, perfect. Exactly what we expect to happen. Now the bunny should jump through the platforms, land on them, and jump again. I refresh a few times to see how it works. I'm going to follow that rabbit. All right, so following that rabbit, do this.cameras .main star follow, and then we're going to follow this.player. Just one line. All right. Oh, so we should actually go all the way up at this rate. But clearly there's a problem. We only have 5 platforms, so the bunny gets stuck here in an infinite loop. But yeah, so scrolling platforms is the next thing we're going to have to handle, but that is in the next part. And this is the end of part 4 in our 10-part series. We've done a lot here. We've added a player, we've added collision logic, and then we've also customized it so that our bunny character will interact with the platforms and then jump whenever it hits a platform or lands on a platform. And then we've also deactivated the up collision and left right collision so that the bunny could go through platforms and keep excelling or getting higher and higher up the platforms list. Next video, scrolling platforms. You can see the title over here. We're going to keep adding more platforms. There's a lot that we can do here. Oh, right, and we also set the camera here with one single line. Amazing. If you run into any problems, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're always happy to help. You can reach us by tweeting at Ourcade HQ, or you can leave some comments below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications of when the next video in this series comes out, which should be tomorrow. But that will be part 5. This was the end of part 4. It's been a pleasure, and I'll check you in the next video.